Bearcat Bounce Podcast, back at it again. Happy Monday. It is a Monday following the culmination of year one for Bearcats basketball in the Big 12 regular season. It is also the infiltration, the beginning, the welcoming of the first ever trip to the Bearcats in the Big 12 tournament basketball year one, Big 12. Massive win on senior night. We're going to dive into all that. It's also the finality of week one in year two of Coach Scott Satterfield spring ball, spring practice. Our Chad Brendel, our Keegan Nicholson have been on scene each and every day throughout those. It's also a Monday where I get to say, guys, it's March Madness, baby. My favorite time of the year. That's right. I had the did that last year. I'm going to do it again this year. A lot of excitement heading into this one. It's also Monday where I bring in my guys, my pals, the crew, the squad. There's only three of us right now. We are expecting the fourth. But as of right now, I'm going to welcome in my guys, Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel. Gentlemen, how are we?
Good. I got a little rest today. Not a ton, but
okay.
A little. It's a long volleyball weekend coupled in with daylight savings time and losing an hour of sleep in between very short turnaround from Saturday to Sunday. But made it. Doing good. Hanging in there.
Daylight savings times, man. It's crazy. It
just
really is.
Get rid of it. This is what our time is, and we stick with this.
It's weird. Because you know what? Massive 36-point win for senior night. I decided I'm staying in Cincy. I'm going to celebrate, have a little fun. But guess what? After you do that, you got to drive home on Sunday. You don't want to get home too late. So you say, I'm going to leave a little early. I wake up. It's already 9:30. I'm like, whoa, got to get on the road. What is this all about? But yeah.
You also know the worst part. If you're a parent, you know the worst part about daylight savings time, and that is going to wake your kid up for school.
Yeah.
In the morning that first day.
Pitch black.
And she was ready to fight me. Can I stay home until 10, please? Get your ass up and go to school. Builds character.
It was pitch black.
What are you going to do when I leave? I'm going back to sleep. Now take your ass to school.
Exactly. You know what?
It was daylight savings time. I'm exhausted. I'm going back to bed, but you're going to have to get on that bus, kid.
Daylight saving time is here just to build grit, build that internal adversity, just make you struggle through. But of course, the whole it's good a little bit later on when you do get that little golf time after the work day. You kind of get the ability to roll out onto the course, get a quick 9 in, between the closing of work and the beginning of the night. And you know what? Royer just joined us. Royer, daylight savings time. Did you not fix your clocks yet? Did you not put them back to the to it's not 7:13? Isn't it crazy?
Hold on.
He didn't fix it. I know he didn't. But hey, Aaron, how are we, sir?
I'm good. I was outside most of the day changing all of the brakes on my car.
Oh gosh.
So yeah.
Changing brakes on your own car?
Yeah. All of them.
Wait,
so I cut your brake lines?
Brakes and rotors. No, just saving money.
Wait a damn minute. You're telling me I should have asked you how are we after Ryan, because that would have been the perfect segue into our boy Danco Joe at Danco Transmission. I love you, Danco Joe. If you are not Aaron Smith and know how to fix your own tires and rotators and breakers and flippers and flappers, then you can head on over to Danco Joe. He'll do all of that for you. Get you fixed up in and out of there. Get $10 off next oil change, 10% off your next fixing. Danco Transmission. We love you, Danco Joe. But Aaron, that's impressive, man. You know what they say, like a guy who knows his way around a car. That's a guy. That's a guy's guy right there.
Man's man.
For one day, I guess I get to be that. So
I can change a tire. That's about all I got for you. Change a tire. That works. Ryan, how are we, sir?
Doing well. Good solid weekend. Got to watch
Yep.
some blowout dub by the Cats.
Hey, man.
Yeah, it was good. I'm doing well. Good
Well,
Monday.
Oscars
so
last
far.
night. I know your flavor.
Yeah, my boy Nolan swept. So I was pretty stoked about that. Oppenheimer is one of my favorite movies. So
Dog,
glad to
is
see that one.
unbelievable. It's
I
unbelievable.
was trying to bet on DraftKings because
Did
you
not
can do
get
that,
it
but
in
only
in time?
select states. You
Oh,
can't
really?
do it in Ohio. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was pretty bummed
Your
out.
boy
'Cause I was
on,
gonna go Emma Stone.
oh,
Emma Stone. She
have you
was
seen
like
that movie? Poor Things.
no, but I was
Dog.
catching the buzz on her.
Don't watch it
People
with your
thought she was
parents.
gonna
That's all
win.
I gotta say. Don't watch it with your parents.
Yeah.
Golly. It is it's a wild movie, but it's a great movie. Another great movie. But yeah, Oppenheimer. Absolute classic. Absolute classic. Chad, Aaron, did you guys watch Oscars? Nothing? Nothing out of you over there?
I didn't get home until 11.
I had anything better. Laundry would have been better than watching the Oscars.
God.
The gall of a
Effective Aaron answer.
AAU volleyball tournament. Our last game started at 5:00. We didn't leave Gatlinburg until 6.
It's not healthy. Not
Ridiculous.
healthy. Yeah, it's a long.
And then I came home and did a nightcap.
Yeah. You know,
Because that's the type of guy that I am.
Beast.
absolute animal.
Happy
Beast
about it.
only.
I wasn't happy about it, but
Give-
the work
give-
has to get done.
Give that man an Oscar, right, Ryan?
That's Oppenheimer right there.
That's Oppie right
That's
there.
That's a Robert J. Oppenheimer moment from Chad.
Right there. Aaron is the Robert Downey Jr. in the scenario, but whatever. That's enough Oppenheimer for the night. But,
Best supporting actor.
already gave Danco the shout out. So let's roll into basketball. Let's roll right into it because I'm excited. I'm excited. Your boys. Monstrous win, as Ryan already pointed out, a blowout win. That is right, 92-56 win over West Virginia. Pretty crazy stats about that final score. Most points scored since the Florida Gulf Coast game, third most all season. Lowest points they've held their opponent to scoring since the Bryant game. It was also the third lowest opponent point total in this season as well. So obviously the Big 12, both a high and a low in that as well. 4 players in double figures, led by Dan Skillings and John Newman. 13 players played, 11 players scored. That's another awesome fact. This is the largest conference win for any Bearcat team since 2018 against UCF at home. Chad, I don't know if you remember the game, 77-40. They took down the Knights of Gold, led by 14 point scoring. Chad, you know what? I would give you 7 guesses. You probably wouldn't get it.
Taco Fall.
No, Bearcats were led in scoring. 14.
Oh.
2018.
18 was
Phenomenal year.
that was mixed last year, right?
Second to last.
18 wasn't the Iowa year. You're right. 18 was the one we don't talk about.
Nope.
I'll go Justin Jennifer.
He was third. He wasn't double figures.
Farad Cobb.
No. Cobb was not the first was Trevor
Kevin Johnson.
Moore with 14 points.
I
More.
would not. You could have given me 13 guesses.
I know.
And I don't know that I've ever. I just don't remember Trevor scoring double digits in a game.
I was
I don't
dumbfounded
remember
when
him.
I saw it.
Ever leading a game in scoring. Ever.
I was dumbfounded when I saw it. But you
Gray
know what?
Bush, I hate to break this to you. Cashmere graduated in like 2013, 2000. Like it was a long time ago.
He was working at the dealership in 2018.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Trevor had 14. Kyle Washington 13. Gary had 12. Justin Jennifer 11. Just insane out of our boy. 14 points.
I would have gone with Claude before I'd have gone with Trevor Moore.
Get this. 14 points, 13 minutes. The absolute microwave. The greatest
He
shooter.
hit 4 threes.
2 threes, 4 for 4 from the line. You know what? I know it gets weirder.
He went to the free throw line 4 times in his career.
He was the best shooter Mick has ever seen in practice. So he was showing it out there.
I can confirm how he shot. Like
Right.
it was, to me, it was remarkable how much different. Because I watched him a ton in AAU. I watched him a ton in practice, and his shot in games didn't look anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was so weird what pressure
Yeah.
kind of did to that kid's jump shot.
Now, we don't talk about what happened later on that year. But anyway, so obviously a massive, huge win, senior night. A lot of cool things to pick out of it, but also the biggest story afterwards is facing the same team again tomorrow afternoon. But Chad, let's wrap this one up. Your thoughts? You weren't on the nightcap. Obviously, you were busy being the volleyball dad that you are. But were you able to kind of take in the action and whatnot, and kind of just some overglaring things that you kind of were able to pull out of the win?
So, fortunately, one of the other parents. So Kelsey played at 4. They had to be at the gym at like 1:45 because they had to work at 3:00 and then play at 4. So one of the other parents took her to the gym. I was able to stay in the room. I watched the first half, and I think I made it to the under 12. Were they up 18 at the under 12? I think they
The
were.
second half.
Yeah,
something like that. And then they closed the game on a 7-0 run. So
yeah. So I left right at the under 12 so that I could be at the gym by the time Kelsey's game started. The funny part, here's a good one for you, Brent. So we're driving home, and Kelsey has this thing now, like where she watches the game while we're driving because she was obviously playing. She didn't get to watch it on her phone. So she's watching the game on her phone, and she looks and she goes, "Dad, they scored 92 points." I go, "Yeah." She goes, they scored 20 points in the final 4 minutes. She's like, "Yep." She's like, "Damn." Yep. I mean, hats off to them on putting West Virginia away.
Mm-hmm.
They did what we've talked about. When they're at their best, they're able to get out and run. The main way to do that is forcing some live ball turnovers, which they did.
Yeah.
They also did a great job outlet passing and playing downhill off of missed shots.
Yeah.
That's why it's like if your defense is bad, your offense, if you're this team, your offense is going to struggle significantly as well because it's really hard to run on a make. It gets really hard to run on a make. So they turned West Virginia over, and then when they rebounded, they got the ball moving down the floor. West Virginia was unorganized. They didn't communicate well. Cincinnati went straight to the rim. And once the pace was cranked up, I don't think West Virginia had much fight. Like they're at the end of a dreadful season. But it's Cincinnati's job to stick a fork in them.
Yeah.
And turn it and make sure they stay on the floor dead. And they did that. They did a great job on Edwards. West Virginia does worry me tomorrow. I can get to that later if you'd like.
Yeah, let's hold off until a little later. But
okay,
yeah, definitely. Same, but kind of a small way that really any team in the country not in the country, that any team in the Power 5 outside of like the bottom 12 can kind of scare you. But they've got a little bit more juice than some of those teams. So yeah,
it's very specific. It's very specific why they scare me.
Yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, you look back in the first half, West Virginia was trying to do exactly that. It's kind of tried to lay over and kind of give the game away. Bearcats were up 14 with about a minute and a half left in the first half, and then West Virginia closed on that 7-0 run. And before you know it, it was just 7-point game at halftime. So Yeah, shouts to the Bearcats in the second half, definitely being able to kind of put the pedal to the metal, and then you kind of saw a West Virginia team that I think is a little done with their season, a little done with the whole Josh Heiler era and what has been thrown at them through that. But we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, a lot going on Tuesday that we'll dive into more here. But Royer, Aaron, your guys' thoughts on the game itself? Any fun plays that kind of really caught your eye that you want to touch on a little bit more?
The alley-oop to Day, which was the best dunk since Day's last dunk, the windmill.
Yeah.
And was also, I think, probably the most challenging dunk that's been made this season by any Bearcat. But my favorite stat,
the windmill or the oop?
The oop.
I kind of agree, but I feel like Dan put that ball perfectly,
Yeah.
And so all I gotta do is just go up and dunk it.
He's still like 6 foot.
Oh, but think about a windmill at 6 foot.
Okay. I'm just saying
Yes,
there's more.
Both are
the windmill, you're at least in full control.
Yeah.
But my favorite stat of the day, outside of the 48 points in the paint, was the 9 of 9 dunks, 12 of 15 layups. That's the most efficient day that they've had in conference play in the paint. And second to that is probably just the second chance points at 18. Those are all just impressive stats by this Cincinnati Bearcats team.
Unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Royer?
Yeah. You already know. Chad, what's my moment?
I mean, I didn't get to watch. It's the walk-on Landon Long.
Yeah, you know.
As soon as he came in. Yeah.
WON, baby. That's mine for sure. Had me up on my feet screaming. I don't even know the kid. I didn't even know he was on the team.
That was a
it's hard. You can't even see him. You can't even, like, the one they put him all the way at the end of the bench. You can't even, like, see him a lot of times. And I saw him in the one, what's his name? Kirkwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, hit them check in. I was like, all right, it's go time. Like, I was locked in. That was my favorite moment by far, because I know exactly how that kid feels, like, just getting to go in there, like, after he obviously deserved that moment, and not only deserved to get in, but deserved to make the three the way he did, and watching him celebrate, I thought was awesome.
Trivia time, Royer.
What's up?
What is Landon Long's career high in points scored in a college basketball game?
5.
Brent, you got a shot? Did you hear it?
Wait, did he play somewhere before here?
Played at Ohio Northern for 4 years.
Oh, 33.
Ooh, close.
Aaron, you got a guess?
If 33 was close, I'll say 30.
Colder.
34.
I think it was 35.
Or
was it 35? Yeah, it was 35. You're right, 35.
Yeah, he had a nice shot.
He can shoot the shit out of it, man. He can shoot the shit out of it.
He definitely had the game. Like, you could see that he is a shooter. Like, the way he was coming off pull up three, like, lean into his left. But other than that, I was impressed that they were able to finally just put a team away. At my own demise of betting, I made a crucial error thinking I clicked over for points, but I accidentally clicked under.
Oh.
I was like, I mean, we're near it. We're getting, like, at crunch time. We're up big. Like, we're not going to, like, maybe I'll still make it. But fucking, like Chad mentioned, what was it? How many points, Chad? 20
points in the last 4+ minutes.
Yeah, that'll do it for me. But at least the dagger.
It was right before the under 4 timeout when Kelsey was like, started doing math, and they had 72. And she's like, Dad, I thought they finished with 92. I was like, they did. She's like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, I was like, all right, we got to get the walk-ons in. It's senior day, have them dribble it out. But the dagger was already fucking destroyed through my heart. So I didn't have to worry that Landon was sinking that three like a beast.
Did they show the long celebration after the three?
Oh, I saw that on Twitter. It was sick. I was like, damn, he's got some swag, man.
I know.
I was a
like,
big fan
yeah.
of that.
I was like, all right, Mason High School legend, yeah, Craig
I think
Lawrence.
Landon might need to be on this podcast here sometime soon.
Hey, bring him on.
Yeah,
Get him and Chase
Craig
on.
Lawrence.
See what's going
Walk
on.
on Nation, let's go.
That's our Dune guy from last week.
Yep.
Our Dune freak.
He was on fire. It was on fire. But yeah, it was a. And then obviously they were trying to lock down Chase on that next time that he got the ball.
Yeah, they did not want the other walk on.
No
banging
more
the
make
three.
a wish. No more.
And then he drew the foul with like 2 seconds on the shot clock. I was like, all right, let's go. Drain both free throws. I mean,
yep.
Could be something to think about. Crunch time, maybe. But
get him in there.
It was awesome seeing Odie get the dunk as well. And not to turn a happy smiley time to a sadder, more reflective time, but Wes was like getting choked up in the post game presser talking about first John obviously and how much John's been a warrior and whatnot, but then he brought up Odie and that's when he really started choking up. And he was like,
"Well, dude, I don't think people realize how hard it is to do what Odie's done and still remained Odie without turning into an asshole. Let's be quite honest about it. Most guys would."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, in today's day and age of basketball and college sports in general, it's a hard thing to do to yes, I want to do what helps the team win, when it's so easy to be like, oh, okay, you recruited 2 higher level, big men that play my same position. All right, I'm just gonna hop in the portal real quick too. See you guys later. But
I mean, he couldn't hop in the portal. He was out. Well, I mean, in the off season, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, in the off season.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, it's that side of things is really big. And then of course the whole, didn't go sour ever. Actually asked Wes if he could play on the scout team to help the team. Just all the stories that are coming out of that are awesome. And then of course Newman being honored as first team all defense in the Big 12, very much respected, very much deserved. And yeah,
should have been unanimous.
Was it not?
No, it wasn't.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Aaron opined maybe Day took a vote or 2 from him.
I did.
Maybe. How about Day? Golly, that dude's playing with his hair on fire the last few weeks.
I'm telling you, man, I think he's going to be so much better next year. I really don't think people understand the jump that he has taken over the past 3 weeks to where his game is consistently high level. Yeah. The assist numbers are way up. The turnover numbers are way down. He's still struggling to shoot the 3, but he's had a couple games where he's made multiple. And he's running the team better. His steals have been that steal he had yesterday along the baseline and transition.
Yeah, when he just runs. Yeah.
He just came darting around from nowhere, circled around the play. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take that." That's not a steal and dunk for you, sir. We're going the other way.
Yeah.
He's played really, really well. If he has a good offseason, he's going to be a plus Big 12 point guard next year. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah. Well, and also the main thing about Day is you mentioned his size as well as somewhat being a deterrent. And then you see, okay, look at his athleticism. That just wipes away any concerns on his size and his ability in the league. I mean, his athleticism takes him to a different level. His defense is amped up. He's 34th in the country in steal percentage right now. He's becoming an elite on-ball defender and even becoming one of the pretty good off-ball defender too. So it's his shooting right now, of course. Obviously the 3-point shooting needs some work, but his form doesn't look bad. I mean, I'm not a shot
He's not a terrible shooter. He's
Right.
not a terrible. I mean, there is a jump there that can be made if he puts in the work, and I have no reason to believe that he won't. Especially as his confidence grows, because I don't think people have an understanding of the difference in playing JUCO ball and then playing in the Big 12. Like that is a significant level jump from one to the other. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm excited to see where he is trending.
Him and Jizzle both, man.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Jizzle has been doing some crazy things as well. Royer, what was the broadcast like? Were they kind of hammering home the Jizzle as well? I feel like every broadcast that I've watched, that's like a national one, they kind of really get a lot of Jizzle airtime and like love just talking about the Jizzle connections and whatnot.
You're muted, bub.
Yeah, they were giving Jizzle his love like always, but I'm starting to get nervous, man. He's getting the media is always a little bit like late to the train, where like the announcers will start kind of like hyping up a guy that like fans and coaches and teams have already been like all over like internally in scout reports and stuff. I'm starting to get nervous that he's going to get like attacked this offseason by some big programs. And I know we kind of mentioned it before. I think was it last week or 2 weeks ago? We kind of touched on it a little bit, but
yeah,
you never know nowadays, man, with how this shit is. I'm starting to get nervous. I'm not going to lie, because you see a kid that's like blossoming like before our eyes at like an accelerated rate. And it's like the blossoming you're seeing isn't like, oh, this is a solid player. Like, you're like, this is a guy that's going to be like legitimately like one of the best players in this conference.
Did you hear Patino today?
No.
Brent, did you?
Didn't have a chance on part of my take. I didn't have a chance to listen yet.
So they were talking about the transfer portal, and he was like, there's some schools out there that have some really good young players that we're going to be interested in, like Cincinnati.
He's gone like, was he always this fucking like blunt and like
no, but he
arrogant?
Doesn't care now. Like he's been been exiled. He's basically now he's like, look, I am undead and I'm going to be coaching basketball for another 237 years.
And he's got
St. John. My ass. I'm going.
I also think he's got like
players.
He's at St. John's. He's got like the whole Italian vibe behind him now. He's got like the backing.
Yeah, they showed a picture of him. They showed a picture of him when he was the coach of the Celtics, and it doesn't even look like the same person.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't even look like the same person.
Well, that's because he was 134 years old at that point.
Yeah, now 185.
His age is extremely deceptive right now. Can anyone guess his age? Royer, I'm starting with you.
Is it 68?
Wow. Royer taking a lower number than I thought. Aaron?
743.
You're closer. Warmer, not quite as cold as before. Chad?
What am I guessing?
Patino's age.
72.
Ooh, 71. I always get the vibe that he's like.
I thought he turned 72. I knew he was 71.
I get the vibe that he's like mid 70s. It just feels like he's a little older, mid to late 70s. But
I mean, he played at Providence in the early 80s.
Yeah, I mean, he was
1780s.
Yeah. Yeah,
he was with Jim Naismith. They were He was with Naismith. They're coming up with basketball.
Naismith. Yep. Edward Cullen was his small forward. That's a Twilight joke for all you fans out there. But anyway, the topic we were talking about was Jizzle James. And Royer, I hear you.
What was that guessing again? H. Patino. Gotcha. Nothing. So, somebody's been texting. Look, the silly season has begun. Like my phone is starting to pop off in anticipation. We are 1 week from the transfer portal opening.
scary, silly, or exciting?
No,
stuff?
just people around the end, like people, now it's time for people to start talking.
Yeah.
So yeah, my phone's been a little busy.
One of the main things for me in this whole situation is how much we have heard about relationship building that Wes really thinks is an extremely important part in his development of his team with his players and with everyone whatnot. So that part I think helps in these situations, Royer. Like I think it would have to be like a pretty crazy scenario, but you know what? I guess we are in crazy land right now. But I think one attribute that Wes has is being able to connect with his players and the team and really get after it with making sure that everyone's on the same page together. So I don't know, but it is crazy time. It's crazy period. And if someone comes knocking on your door with some bags, who knows who's going to answer or not, but that's that. Now this team, obviously, big win. Don't need to really dive in anymore. Aaron, did you have anything on West Virginia? You obviously covered it with Keegan on the nightcap.
I mean, I spoke about it for 45 minutes.
All right. Well, good addition on the baby.
Well, I gave you my piece on the things that stood out to me already. How many?
Well, then
all the points in the paint.
We need to briefly touch on the whole Bob Huggins and Kenyon Martin thing in the in Fifth Third Arena. Royer, did you hear what they did with old Bobby Huggins?
Yeah, they put him up there, gave him a little airtime, sang some country roads to him.
Yeah.
And then Rick rolled him.
How?
And then
how
what?
About,
they Rick rolled country roads.
What's that?
You don't know what Rick rolling is?
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down.
I do not.
It's when you set up, like it's like when you send somebody something and you make them think it's something like emotional or like important, and then it immediately cuts to
Rick
Ashley singing "Never Gonna Give You Up." Ashley, "Never Gonna Give You Up." The 80s music, MTV.
It does like that, that record scratch, like
Never gonna run around.
Oh, like they're like taking a jab at him, is what you're saying?
Yeah, like we're not gonna play
troll. It's basically how trolling started. Is they rickrolled you. Like that was the original internet like troll.
Royer, quickly look up Rick Astley Rickroller. I don't even know. What is it? Never Gonna Give You Up, Aaron? Is that the name of the song?
We've been together for so long. You know the rules and so do I.
Anyway, yeah, so that part was amazing. Obviously,
heard a guy screaming while we were shooting threes up 20, and I thought of Aaron.
That was just my spirit animal.
Yeah, he wasn't there. He was there in spirit. But obviously Kenyon Martin was there. Kmart, the goat,
with his son,
Cam Martin. I think his son's a senior in high school right now.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was getting the
potential walk on.
Yeah, the grand tour things, and how awesome would that be? That would be amazing.
Be a pretty good walk on to have around.
Oh, amazing walk on to have around, and in a perfect scenario type situation as well. So, but yeah, so Kenyon was in the crowd, obviously, courtside. Bob Huggins was there. Bob Huggins was wearing red. It had an interesting logo on it. It was
his logo.
It was him in the mustard suit.
Right.
Yeah, with his arms out.
Right.
Like Jesus. With his arms out and his feet crossed. That's how.
The only reason it wasn't Jesus is because you can't get him up. Never mind. We're stuck, right? They can only go. His recycling logo. Oh boy.
Yeah. So Bob Huggins was also at the game. In the crowd, red shirt. the West Virginia board, if you have time and you feel like a good laugh, they've got like a 10-page little forum going right now on the whole Huggins in red at the UC game. So that shows you the current state of West Virginia basketball. But it's that same team, the West Virginia Mountaineers, the same team Bearcats just beat 92-56. The same team that the Bearcats did lose to earlier this season, though. You need to remind yourself that on the road, 69-65 is the team that the Bearcats will be playing in round 1 of the Big 12 tournament. Guys, 3 p.m. roughly tip. It's first game's at 12:30. The Oklahoma State UCF game. Whenever that ends, they say it's 25 minutes after the first game. So, gonna be an interesting first game. Obviously, when you play a team and then 3-4 days later you play that same team for the third time in 1 year, it's going to be a weird vibe. But going into it, obviously, I think Bearcats are 9.5-point favorites. It's I don't know. I don't quite know how to feel about this one because obviously you go from a 36-point blowout, but how much of that was the Mountaineers kind of, rolling over? Yeah,
they quit. Period. Like there's no other way to explain what happened at the end of that game. They quit. They said, no mas, we don't want to do this anymore. We're out.
So do
They're
then
not going to
revive
quit
themselves for one game?
They're not going to quit from the jump. So the reason Cincinnati, and let's be honest about this here, Cincinnati made them quit. Like, let's not lose sight of that. That was a game that Cincinnati had control of, but West Virginia was well within striking distance.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I'll get to my fear for West Virginia at the end.
Okay.
But did they quit as psychological warfare? No, they quit because they're bad and they had a bad regular season, and that was the end of the regular season, and they quit. Like they were done. But Cincinnati pressured them to the point that they quit. Because once you got it out to 18-19 and made it pretty clear you're not winning this game, the effort dropped considerably from West Virginia. Mm-hmm. And that's what allowed it to get to 36. But guess what? That's why you get a team down by 18 or 19, because you hope to make them quit. You hope to take away their competitive spirit. And Cincinnati did. Yeah. What kept West Virginia in it for 35, 36 minutes is that they have a team that doesn't have to be coherent offensively to be good. They have a lot of guys that can make individual plays even against good defense.
Yeah.
You can defend them well. And they have enough. I mean, Kirk Carissa took 4 or 5 threes that were ridiculously dumb.
Yeah.
But if he hits 2 of them, it changes the complete flow of where the game was at, and Cincinnati doesn't get to that 18, 20-point lead.
Right.
And it stays around 10. And if it stays around 10, West Virginia stays engaged. Mm-hmm. So it is not going to be easy to just immediately get them in a spot where you're up 15, 16, 17 points, and you can get them to give up on their season. Right. Edwards, Battle, we've seen even Slazinski, the guard that got going kind of a little bit there at the end of the first half. Farrakhan. Yeah. He can get hot. Carissa can get hot. Yeah. And none of them need offense to do it. They don't need screens. They don't need a bunch of action. They just need the ball. And that's part of why they're not good, is they've got a whole team of those guys. But when 1 or 2 of them starts hitting a bunch of tough contested shots that you play good defense, you're in rebounding position, and they just throw in a shot that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. If one of them gets hot, they're going to hang around until you put them away. That's what makes this tricky tomorrow, because against most teams in West Virginia's situation, you should go back and play great defense again. rebound the basketball, and this team can't keep up with you.
Right.
And technically, yes. But they have dudes that can change that equation, even if you do the right things. Cincinnati took care of the ball. If Cincinnati comes out and turns it over and gives West Virginia momentum, it's going to be a disaster. And I'm sure Josh Eilert is looking at his guys and going, hey, they turned it over 25 times, 22 times, 19 times, 17 times. Like, that's our secret to changing how this game is played out. So I think Cincinnati wins, but I'm just weary of the why West Virginia can be good, because they can do it without your resistance.
I mean, you saw a 7-0 run by West Virginia at the end of the first half, where if that comes in a time where, say Bearcats are up 2, and it's, a similar situation towards the end of the first half, and all of a sudden West Virginia goes into halftime up 5, that whole vibe in that locker room for both teams is like, okay, come on. Bearcats are kind of feeling a little bit of pressure. West Virginia, on the other hand, is like, all right, well, I got 20 more minutes to go put some more tape out there for the transfer portal, and also try.
Didn't they have a big run at the beginning of the first half too? Was it like 13-2 or 9-0 or something?
Where
Cincinnati tried to pull away and they kind of got it back, and then Cincinnati pulled away again, and they got it back. I mean, they can go on runs because they have the shot making that allows them to do that. So go defend your ass off. Try to keep them out of position to get those shots up on the rim. But you have to grind them out. You have to grind that lead up to 12, then up to 15, and kind of keep it there for a little bit, and they will wave the white flag. They will. They've shown that. But if you let them think they might have a chance at Kansas without Dickinson and McCullough tomorrow, they're going to play their ass off.
Yeah. Especially because this is technically, if they lose, it is West Virginia's last game of the year. And so a coaching staff that it seems as if they've somewhat lost the team. If you have that one thing to say to them, is like, listen, guys, this is your last chance to really try and go out there and do everything. Where on the other side, there are players on that Cincinnati team that still definitely feel that they have every ability to make a run themselves and try and make some noise somehow in March. So it's a total coin flip. One side has one way to feel, the other side has the other way to feel. Your thoughts, Chad, because I'm going to go down to Royer next, because it's kind of interesting, Royer. You're kind of you've had a feel about what this question is going to be. Chad, this quick of a turnaround, do you think it favors the team that just blew out the team, or does it favor the team that got blown out?
It depends on your mentality, right? That depends on what's going on in that locker room, because what the coaches at Cincinnati have to, pound into their heads is, we beat them by 36. We lost at third place.
Yeah.
We lost at third place. This is not a team that you beat by 7 at third place and then you went and you won by 36. No, we lost there. So your mentality, your mindset still has to be come out playing at the absolute top of your game and jump on them quick and take, but if you come out and you're down, 14-6 at the under 12, now they've got belief.
Yeah.
So, that's the part for Cincinnati. And if you're West Virginia, do they get pissed or do they care? That's ultimately what it comes down to for them. Are they legitimately still bought in and ready to go try to win the Big 12 tournament and keep their season alive? Or are they looking at pro options or the transfer portal or whatever comes next? I'm not going to pretend to know every roster situation there. Kirk Carissa has to be out of eligibility, doesn't he? I think he started at Arizona the year Sean Miller got the job.
I think he's got the COVID year left.
Are you serious?
Yeah. But
Wow.
we'll see. We'll see. Which is why I'm going to now turn to someone. I tried to go back and see if there's been a basketball scenario where the team that the Bearcats last played in the regular season was their first game in the conference tournament. I couldn't find the scenario. So Royer, it happened in football pretty recently. The Bearcats played Memphis at Memphis in the final game of the regular season. Tough loss. Then, a week later, what was that, a Black Friday game leading into a following Saturday game? So
Yeah, it was.
eight days later, it was a return trip to Memphis. Another tough loss. But what was kind of the mentality leading into back-to-back games against the same team, and then also the mentality with the team that had just lost a tough game now having to go back and kind of resurrect that loss? Obviously, it's way different scenarios, but
I think it is a lot different when you get blown out and you kind of give up. I think that's kind of like what Chad was alluding to, mentality based. Like if West Virginia kind of like hung around and like showed some fight, that you'd be a little bit more nervous, because I always like a saying that I was always taught was it's always hard to beat a team twice. And like I would say it's even harder to beat a team twice in 2 weeks, because I think there is a lot of like, I think there's something to be said about kind of like revenge games, and like that's kind of like the chip on the shoulder we had versus Memphis was like, all right, yeah, we lost, but like now all the marbles are on the line. Like I feel like it kind of like dialed up our preparation and really kind of, we had a bad taste in our mouth. But you know, that didn't get us over the finish line. Obviously, we did. It doesn't guarantee a win, but it definitely does add like a little bit of like hatred that like wouldn't really be there, that doesn't really exist when like you beat a team. But I don't think this is the same kind of scenario. I think West Virginia is in a whole different state of mind. I think we are in kind of a more of like do or die, like let's choke these fuckers out type of mindset. Like at least we need to be.
You think there's any difference? Like I think the main difference is this West Virginia team they haven't grown up together. This is a team of transient players that have all landed at West Virginia, trying to put, obviously Huggins recruited almost all these guys, like trying to put one run together as a unit, and that has gone horribly wrong. So this is not a group of guys, I don't think, that are playing for each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, is Huggins going to be back at this game? And if so, what color is he wearing for that game?
Half and half. He's going to go to Donna Kelsey, half and half. Mustard suit and Huggins logo, and red polo.
I'm hoping for the Jordan Block jersey on the other half with the mustard suit.
I think he's just showing up in the mustard suit. I just bringing that back out and introducing his logo to the world, just like that. But yeah.
No, Chad, you're absolutely right on that.
I wonder how connected they are. Like, I think
that's why I said I'm not worried. I'm not worried about like the factor that is normally involved in situations like this.
And the problem being, you have to worry about one of them going out there and trying to get his and getting it, because they got a couple dudes. I mean, Jesse Edwards scored 36 the game before Cincinnati. So, and Raekwon Battle can put up 30 on you. And I mean, like, they got a couple guys that could go do it for themselves and keep them in a position to win this game.
What did Jesse Edwards put up against Cincinnati? 27?
25, 20. It was right there, 25-ish. Yeah. And it looked easy. Yeah, because it was easy 25. Yeah,
because it was.
You are. That is a correct analysis of that situation, Aaron.
25, 10, and 4 blocks.
Another day at the office.
He didn't have any assists because he didn't need to pass.
He shouldn't have passed.
Right. I would have taken him out if he passed. What are you doing?
And then he had that one possession in the game on Saturday where he like decided to just go full bully mode and like.
Yeah. Well, Did you see the crazy thing about the 36 he had?
No.
He missed 12 free throws.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was 6 of 18 from the free throw line and scored 36.
Cincinnati had like 2 games where they didn't even shoot 12 free throws as a team.
No
Yeah.
comment on
So
the officiating.
a guy like that, they did a great job on him Saturday. But a guy like that, man, if you let him get cooking, you can be in big trouble quick.
Easy way to introduce your name on the big stage as well is to put up a crazy stat line and a big win and then play Kansas the next day. So,
right.
However selfish it is to say, a lot of these West Virginia people are probably like, okay, I got to get these teams to know who I am a little bit.
And if they've got eligibility left, of course.
That's a good way to. Aaron, your thoughts leading into tomorrow?
I mean, Cincinnati's been looking for a signature win. People talk about signature wins all the time and how Wes Miller hasn't found a signature. Well, if Wes Miller wins in this first round against West Virginia, which truthfully is not the best team we all know they're not the best team in the conference. You want to show people you belong, start winning these types of games, right? This is a game that you're supposed to win. You are seated higher. You have shown more all season long. Yes, West Virginia got one at their place. We got them at our place. And now you have a rubber match to kind of show the whole conference what you're actually made of. And I think, truthfully, I think I'll be disappointed in this team if they can't win this game one way or another.
Yeah. I think disappointment would be a heavy understatement. I think the board would simply light on fire. I think that would be what would happen. So, it's a game where one team's going to play freely, the other one is going to feel like they've got a lot to play for, and so you're going to really see two different ends of the stick there. We're still talking about the same West Virginia team that has beaten some doggone good teams this year, including the one that they're playing on Tuesday at 3:00. Man, it's just crazy seeing a Bearcat game on conference tournament week on Tuesday. It's like normally it's just like get ready for that Thursday start, ready for that Wednesday game, but here we are.
We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto.
Yeah,
here we actually are, Aaron. That's where they are. They're in Kansas.
That's where they're located.
Right now. Like as we speak, they are in Kansas.
I mean, you could say like we aren't in Texas anymore.
Right.
Quick play on the words, but it'll be interesting. I don't want to dive too much further into what happens after that because obviously you guys will have the show tomorrow, Aaron, and whatnot after the game tomorrow night.
Maybe
and whatnot. But things are kind of lining.
Keegan and I are going to go live 5:30 somewhere in there.
I got daddy daycare.
Oh.
You can pop in with she's old enough now.
You've got your own jungle you're dealing with.
She's not going to sit in my lap, and she is a hurricane.
Aaron in the jungle is what we call it over there. It's big time. But yeah, so if they win tomorrow, they would play Kansas at 9:30. Waiting after that is Baylor. I'm going to be completely honest. This tournament kind of lined up in a good direction for Cincinnati to want to try and make a run. Obviously, extremely difficult to win 5 games in 5 days against any Big 12 team, but you're lining up pretty decent. Just overall thoughts on the Big 12 tournament.
Lining up decent, Brent. You have to go West Virginia, Kansas,
who's going to probably be without their 2 best players.
Probably. And then Baylor,
who I think Cincinnati matches up pretty doggone well with.
And then probably Iowa State.
And then that's when it gets tough.
And then Houston.
Yep.
But as somebody pointed out today, It's been like 8 years since the Cincinnati postseason, like conference tournament, did not end with a matchup against Houston.
True.
So destiny would be Cincinnati, Houston in the Big 12 championship finals, because outside of the COVID year, I think we go back to what, SMU in 2016.
I'm trying to think before looking it up, but yeah, I think that's
or 17.
I think you're dead on, because 18 they beat them, 19 they beat them. So yeah,
20 was COVID.
Yeah,
So
17 would have been 17 would have been when they played. Yep, SMU they lost. Yep. Wow.
So 18, 19, and then 21, 22, 23 all ended with losses to Houston in the conference tournament. So 5 of the last 6, and the one we don't know, they could have played Houston then.
That
5
is
of the
an
last
awesome
6 conference tournaments have ended against Houston, either in a win or a loss. So 1 + 1 = 2. That means that Cincinnati will play Houston on Saturday for a Big 12 championship.
And Chad, the last loss of the 2020 COVID shortened season when a global pandemic shook the world. Last loss was to Houston. So hey, you know what? Wouldn't it be cathartic if faith was restored with the Bearcats finally getting one against the Cougars
in the Big 12 championship game to earn the automatic berth?
To earn an automatic berth. A return trip to the NCAA tournament. Oh man, it would be something. But yeah, that
would be a heck of a week on the Bearcat Journal message board.
Oh yeah, unbelievable.
Just say that.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean there are more difficult paths in the world, but heavy. This is it's we're talking about having a dream that lasts for a full week. So let's all start sleeping, right? Anything more on basketball, guys? Obviously, what I did want to kind of do like a wrap up of things, but I feel like that'll be better at the end of the season when everything is all tied up in a bow. So let's
the wrap up of the Big 12 season is easy. The Big 12 part of it, at least.
Yeah.
Close, but not good enough. Like, they were close, but they weren't good enough. And that's, forget the whole, like, they let this game get away or they let that game get away. Like, every game was close. So even in, I'll take out BYU because they won by 11, even though that was close until the final segment.
Right.
And then West Virginia, in their 5 wins, it was close. So they were close, but ultimately they were not good enough. They should have beat West Virginia at West Virginia. You should not have let Oklahoma State come into your gym and win. Guess what? At that point, you're 9-9 and you're in the tournament.
Yeah.
They could have, there are 2 or 3 others that they could have won, but they weren't good enough. So that sums up all you really need to know about the Big 12 season. They're close. The roster is in a good place, but it's not there yet. There's still improvements that need to be made, and that need to happen this offseason.
7-11, 11 losses, 10 in single digits, 8 and 5 points or less. So, Aaron, Ryan, tie a quick bow on the Big 12. Before I quickly say, Danco, Joe, I agree. Cats are dangerous, baby. Cats are dangerous. Nobody wants to play them. I love it. I hope they all bring that mentality.
I agree. I think they'd be a great March Madness team.
Can they win 2 games in a row first? Before they're a dangerous team that nobody wants to play, can they win 2 games in a row first?
What if all it took was playing West Virginia back to back to get over that 2-game hump? What if that's all it was, Chad? We got to give from the basketball gods.
In a row since Evansville, BYU.
We got to give from the basketball gods. There we go. But yeah, Royer, Aaron, thoughts Big 12 first season wrap up.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I really liked how Chad described it. It was like they did so many good things to feel like the expectations were rising, but then the moment it like rised, it would kind of like crash down again. It's kind of like, all right, they showed things that were like, oh, this team can this is a tournament team. This is a team that can be in the top half of the Big 12, but then they just follow that right up with kind of like a bad loss, or they'd have a team like right on the ropes, like a really good team, and they just couldn't find a way to win. You're like, damn, they're just so close, but not there. I do think there were times where there was like they kind of shit down their leg, where it was getting past the point of just being like, oh, they're improving. It's good to see them kind of have momentum. But I think they kind of got to the point where that just wasn't good enough anymore. They proved they're kind of past that, and they would just kind of always slip right on that last step and fall down the stairs. But it still has me confident for them leading into next year. Has me confident for them tomorrow, and then with Kansas to kind of just make something happen. They have what it takes, but they just haven't been able to prove it when it matters most. So hopefully they prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Good but not great is I think the theme here. But you put a second win in a row for the first time this season, and maybe you have more confidence than you've had all year. And then you go face a decimated Kansas team, and maybe you string a third. And now all of a sudden we have a winning streak. And that's something that we have not seen since out of conference. I know that winning streak is one of Chad's favorite quotes from one of the best sports movies ever, but
that's what you call a winning streak.
To light a fire, you have to have a spark. And I know Brent is all for euphemisms and great sayings and all of the things with rose-colored lenses, Bearcat-colored lenses, whatever we're calling it today. But I'm on the train and I'm ready for a ride, and I just don't want to see the wheels fall off yet.
Hey, wow. Aaron. Kool-Aid. Tastes good.
Last time me, you, and Ryan were all in on the Kool-Aid, though, it went the other way.
Don't bet the
totally
under,
wrong.
Golly.
Oh yeah.
Royer,
so are we gonna be rich, guys?
How bad is betting the under?
Never bet the under. Too young to bet the under.
You're muted again.
It's horrible, and I literally had no idea. And then I was like looking at the slip. I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, well, these guys suck at scoring a lot of points, so maybe I'll be blessed. And then the one time, man, they made me pay
9.5.
A lot of clenching in numerous places throughout the body when you bet the under. That's for sure.
9.5.
Yeah. All right, Crypt Keeper, sure, would love one. Why not? But anyway, let's go ahead and timestamp this. We'll roll into our old new rip with Royer.
Hold on a second. I wasn't ready. I've been talking more today.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. Quick Paper services over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next day deliveries. They provide a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases. Boom.
Have we sent Royer his shot yet?
No. I have to get with them on that. I did the liquor store right by my house, Good Spirits, on Turkey Foot Road in Erlanger, Ellesmere, whatever.
No free advertisements, but sure.
No free ads. But that's where I go to get they have a great barrel pick selection, and they had a single barrel new riff that I always try to take a bottle with me to volleyball tournaments, so the dads, we all kind of pass it around and share a bottle of bourbon throughout the night. And that was the selection this week. And even a couple of the moms tried it and were like, that's really good. Really good.
And then the bottle keeps going down. You're like, let me tell you about this thing we do on Monday nights. We had this guy named Royer. We riff with them. That's what we're about to do. Royer, let's riff. Unmute yourself, man.
I'm ready.
Mute it. Unmute
I
it.
know.
This is how far we got through it.
Wow. Impressive.
Beast.
It is New Riff single barrel.
Impressive.
So we made it that far. It's good stuff. I'll do the ad read too real quick. Fiercely independent and unabashedly innovative, New Riff produces award-winning bourbon, rye whiskey, and gin at their distillery in Newport, Kentucky. The Aquafire Tasting Room, located on the 3rd floor of the distillery, features cocktails, flights, and pours of New Riff's entire line of spirits, including rare, limited edition, and distillery exclusive releases. Bearcat Journal listeners can save 50% on distillery tours when you use the code Bearcats24. For more information or to book a tour, visit newriffdistilling.com.
All right. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Bring it. Don't
All right.
sing it.
We're
Just bring it.
we're starting off with a funny one, a nice lighthearted.
Let's go.
How many Cholitos do you think Dante Corleone could eat if you told him that's how many sacks he would get next year?
Man.
How
With
many
the fries.
So
I need a legit answer.
So I think it's an interesting question because I think the past couple of years Dante has been on a better diet. He probably has not been
Competitive eating.
When he does the Cholitos, he's not trying to see how big the number can get.
Yeah.
Competitive eating would probably be a good
challenge
phrase for that, Aaron. I think he said recently when he goes, he has 2 now instead of 9 like he used to have. I bet he could get to 9. I bet the muscle memory is there.
You don't think he could force down a 2 more?
If he's only having 2 regularly now, 9 is going to be a lot. And not just maybe stomach capacity, but stomach like tolerance. Like that's just straight skyline. Like with
I'll
some
set the line at
fries,
7.5. Line is at 7.5.
Over.
Royer, I think what we need to do is equate this to something relative for us. Maybe it be like, shall we say, $10,000 per Toledo you eat, something like that.
Yeah,
but none of us are
The limit does
320
not
pound
exist.
defensive linemen.
I'm going to quote Mean Girls, fantastic movie. The limit does not exist. No.
Wolfie, the problem was he used to have 9 with other stuff. So I'm not saying he's only eating 2. I'm saying he used to eat 9 plus cheese conies plus the cheese sticks and some chili cheese fries.
The random cheese stick.
No, like just the mozzarella string cheese.
I'm super aware. Still super random. It's not even on the menu. He's just asking.
I think it might be part of the kids' meal. Like it's an option you can get with the kids' meal. And he probably had those there when he was a kid and was like, I like those cheese sticks, man. Give me some more of those.
Well, Aaron, what do you think?
Double digits, easy.
Wolfie says he'd bring in his own cheese sticks. That's outstanding.
Double digits, easy. There's no doubt in my mind. If Ryan's giving me 7.5, I'm betting everything. I'm clearing out all of my accounts.
I bet he gets to 20.
Anything that's still
20.
Anything that's still in GameStop on Robinhood, I'm pulling everything and throwing it all on that 7.5 over.
Think about this. You're saying, listen, this is like a Janie comes out of a damn lamp and it says, you eat a Cholito, that's a sack in this season. How many are you going to eat? Dante's going to try and eat 100. No doubt.
I'll ask him.
Probably stop around 25.
When practice resumes next week,
He will not give you the correct
ask him.
answer.
I will
He'll
ask
give
him.
you the politically correct answer.
I'm going to tell him. I want the real answer. I'm not making you eat them. You
We
can
might have
give
to
me the
bring-
real answer.
We might have to
He's
bring
like-
Lawyer.
He's going to
Lawyer
say he's going
to
to
that
clear
bracket.
Skyline out of chili and tortillas and fries. And there will be nothing left when he is done with that Skyline. They're going to have to call the other Skylines
Yeah.
to bring more Skyline.
See, Aaron, now you're thinking right. Yeah, I agree.
That's what he's gonna tell you.
You got to eat until your stomach almost explodes, probably.
Death by Skyline is what happened to Dante Corleone. He didn't actually get any sacks because death by Skyline.
What almost killed Ed? 9 cheese conies?
It was like 8 in a puke.
8 and puke.
I feel like I could eat.
Maybe 9.
I feel like I
don't
could eat a
remember.
lot of Cholitos if I needed to. A lot. Those things are easy.
Sounds kind of good right now.
They do sound pretty tasty.
Might have to
All
go
of a
get
sudden, we
one.
see Ryan on.
Did you put the
DoorDash,
noodles in
like,
those, Ryan?
Ryan's
What's up?
ordering.
Yeah, I
8
do the spaghetti.
You put that. Spaghetti?
My what I've been doing now is I do add spaghetti, and then one of them I do add sour cream and the extreme cheese, and the other one I do add chili ranch and the extreme cheese.
Oh, okay.
I like the mix up. The chili ranch is nuts in there. I like it.
I might have to bug around. Try that out.
Yeah, fuck
All
around and find out. bro.
FAFO.
There you
All right.
go. All right, I got another little interesting one. I think this might stir the pot up a little bit. So, would you rather be West Virginia this year? Like you start out the year with Huggins, the whole Huggins thing goes down, embarrasses your program, and then you just have a terrible year, and you kind of see where they're at after this last game. Or would you rather rehire John Brannon for 2 years?
It's the same scenario. There's nothing different between the two. It's the same
Chad.
thing. You're asking the same.
All right. How about you have John Brannon for 4 years?
Oh my gosh.
I probably wouldn't work here at that point. This is
All right, we'll put it at 3 years instead of 4.
okay.
this is like the opposite of what's happening on 700 or Lance's show and with the Enquirer right now with all of the boosting of Brannon.
Wait, what's going on?
My name's Paul, and this is between y'all.
Yeah. So, like, did you guys,
Are y'all gonna answer this damn question or what? What?
I just told you.
Am I this ignorant to not know that I'm fucking you guys over or something? I don't
No.
know.
No, wait. So, okay. So, are you saying would you? Well, okay. So the year that Huggins did the thing with, when Andy Kennedy took over, had a pretty good year. It's pretty sad that we missed the tournament that year. It was kind of pretty bush league. I think we were one of the last teams left out. I cried, real teenage boy tears at that point. But I did cry when they did not say our name on Selection Sunday, and that James White, Eric Hicks, Armin Kirkland, Jihad Muhammad, Devin Downey, Roy Bright. It was a good team. You had a lot of players on that team that got you excited to watch little Bearcat basketball. So I think I would roll the dice with seeing how the interim coach would do, and hope that the things are a little bit better than what they ended up being.
I don't know what's happening with my mic. Regardless of what may or may not have happened under the previous regime to what is currently here at Cincinnati, I'd still take a legend coaching and whatever happens after a Hall of Fame legend than whatever happened with the previous regime and tacking on another whatever 2 years or however many it ended up being.
I do want to correct myself real quick. Roy Bright had left. He did not stay with Andy Kennedy. So Cedric McGowan got to give him some flowers. He was there. Ron Allen was there.
Roy Bright did not leave on his own.
Chad Moore was there.
Roy Bright had
he
a
left with a
gun in
bang.
his
He left with a
sweatpants.
bang. He left with a bang.
Had a gun in his sweatpants, which is the dumbest. What are you doing?
I mean, I get asked if I. Never mind. But
No, you don't.
yeah.
I'm around you all the time. You've never been asked that.
If you're wearing the gray sweatpants. But Chad Moore was on that team as well. Ron Allen was on that team. I mean, you know what? I miss that team. They got screwed over. They got royally screwed over.
Cheddar Bob style, Wolfie.
Because what? Syracuse beat them off that runner. Did what?
Jerry
Devendorf did that?
McNamara, McNamara wasn't Devendorf.
But yeah, that was a good team. That was a good team.
They got penalized.
Switch up the conversation, Brent.
What's that?
Way to switch up the conversation there. So we'll just go to the next question now that Chad's back. What are you willing to sacrifice for the coveted 3 wins in a row in this tournament?
4 wins in a row.
You think?
I'll give up.
Give me 5.
I'll give up 2 weeks of this show.
Chad, how many weeks would you give up? Would you give up smoking cigarettes?
0.
Just 1 week.
0.
1 week for them to make the tournament.
Hey, I got breaking news.
What's that?
Bill Self officially announces
this
Hunter
was like 2 hours
Dickinson
ago.
and Kevin McCullough will miss the entire Big 12 tournament due to injuries.
Yeah, that was like 2 hours ago.
Yeah,
No,
that's not
literally was on his radio show.
I know. I quote tweeted it from his radio show.
Why
2
just got a
hours ago.
notification about it? Can we discuss it for a second?
They're out. That's why we talked about they're out since the start of the show.
No,
I
I
said
said
we're out.
no.
I said they were decimated. How else?
Okay, decimated is a little different than saying they're out. But yeah,
That's 2 starters, bro. That's
Officially out.
decimated.
Aaron, Brent,
what?
Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Okay.
Bill Self says
I
Kevin
believe you.
McCullough and
I
Hunter
believe you.
Dickinson.
I
Shut up
believe
and
you.
listen. 7:17 p.m. 7:17 p.m.
I believe
Chad
you.
and I talked about it on the nightcap last night.
Aaron, that was not a guarantee then, though.
The writing was on the wall.
Obviously, everyone was saying it all day yesterday.
It was
Look.
official on his radio show at 7 o'clock.
I understand. I got this update from Jeff Borzello at 9:16 saying that they were
Borzello's late.
both out. So
Because
hey,
he wrote a whole damn article on it instead of
I
tweeting.
apologize. I digress.
Time change happens Sunday morning. Catch up.
Jeffrey, I have seen their bench. I know more about Kansas than probably a lot of people, probably than I should. So yes, I have seen their bench, Jeffrey. Yes. Nicholas Timberlake looks like Clay Thompson at 1,000. He doesn't look like he looks like not a lot.
Hey, Bison! Hey, Baba!
Oh my God, you guys. Yeah.
Just saying. If you're gonna hit us with breaking news,
I didn't see it was official. You guys should have said they are officially ruled out.
I did. As Dickinson and McCullough are out for the Big 12 tournament.
I didn't hear you. I'll have to go back and re-listen. I'll
Okay.
review the tape for myself. All right, I apologize. Royer, go ahead. Next up with Riffing.
He's done. He's on mute.
Muted again, Royer.
Oh, God damn it. It was fucking that was it. And I got
operation we've got going on here. Nobody can talk with their mic on, and Brent's breaking news from 4:15 this morning.
Well, you know what? When most people listen to this, it'll be tomorrow. So let's.
And I guess, I mean, if you guys want one more wrinkle, it's like, do you think it's realistic at all? Or
I
do we
mean-
just want to wait and see how tomorrow goes until we start talking shit?
Ryan, when they win 2 games in a row against teams in this league, I will believe that they're going to win 2 games in a row against a team in this league. Do I think they will beat West Virginia? I do. But am I going to get over my skis about like what happens the game after that? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not at that point yet because they have not shown the ability to go out there and get 2 in a row. Something always stubs their toe. There have been 4 opportunities where it looked well within their grasp and they did not grasp. So go grasp, and then we'll talk
Firmly
about
grasp.
Wednesday, Thursday, because I think they should. But again, I think they should be, if they got to Wednesday, they should beat a depleted Kansas team, but they played a depleted Oklahoma team and lost.
Yeah,
So-
that was terrible.
Breaking news: John Newman just made the Big 12 All-Defensive Team. Brent.
No, that came out yesterday, dude. You can't get me there. You cannot get me there. I quote tweeted it yesterday. You can't
Yeah,
get me there.
making fun of you. He was
You
making
can't get
fun
me
of you.
there. Can't get me there.
That's it for the riff, boys. Thank-
Oh my God.
Thanks
Royer,
for
I would,
riffing with me.
Royer, I would hold my pee. I would. For 5 straight days.
You wouldn't pee for 5 days?
If that meant they would win every game, yeah.
Okay. How many days would you not gamble for them to win 5 days and 5 games in 5 days?
Quit on the spot.
For how many? Like for good, forever. You'd never, if
for
they
good.
win this Big 12 tournament, you would never gamble again.
Right. I'll just have my good friend Trent gamble for me.
At least I'm honest,
Jeez.
Royer. At least I'm honest. How many weeks would you not smoke? 0. I wouldn't quit smoking for 0 days. Like I don't. It doesn't move.
I
the
would
needle
give
like
up
that
quite
for
a
me.
lot, Royer. I would give up quite a damn lot. Like if there
That's for how
a way
many
to do it.
months?
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, so that was great riffing with Royer. Fantastic riffing with Royer.
A little more lighthearted this week.
I like
I
it.
enjoyed it. You know what?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot. Let's timestamp. We'll do a quick gathering of just a couple of
man.
topics. We don't need to do a lot of talk about spring ball because you and Dave kind of did that whole wrap up on the BCJ pod.
Yeah,
And then
I don't have a
obviously we
whole
don't
lot
have any
of
practice.
left. I don't have a whole lot left to say on the
Right.
first
So
week of non-panic.
got one other topic to talk about, and then we'll dive in.
Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They provide mostly disposable restaurant supplies, products like to-go containers, cups, pizza boxes, to-go bags, can liners, napkins. They've been open since 2009 and are one of the largest minority-owned companies in the city. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
Man, I tell you what, and I even had a text at 7:46 saying McCullers and Dickinson officially out. It's just the fact, I do research. I actually do research for this podcast, and it is all heavily Cincinnati related. So I didn't have my eyes peeled to the Kansas path. But yes, right. Yep. Go ahead and do it. Keep digging. But yeah. So of course that was basketball and riffing with Royer. One of the big news pieces to also come out of the game on Saturday was the fact that New Heights, that's right, Jason Kelsey, Travis Kelsey will be having a live podcast airing. April 11th was the date thrown out for that one. Obviously, the spring game then would be the 13th of that week. Chad, you kind of hinted at this for a while. I don't know if I've seen you go on air publicly about it, but
I have not yet.
Your thoughts?
I have continued to say that the spring game is going to be really fun. The events around the spring game is. I didn't want to say too much, elaborate too much, and get myself in trouble because things were still, look, these two guys are world famous now and they're crazy busy. So getting them pinned down for anything is, you have to, especially to get a live New Heights, it takes a little planning and a little, time to make sure that all the ducks in a row.
One of them's also a wild card who may or may not do things that he says he's going to do.
Well, that's kind of the tricky thing with Travis, Aaron. Travis
I wasn't
lives life.
saying any names.
No, listen. Let me explain. Travis lives life like we all live life. Like we all want to live life. He
quarter
gets
mile
to
at a
do
time.
that. Right. Like, do you want to do this next Thursday? I can't say yes because something better might come up. For us, nothing better is coming up than whatever it was that our buddy wanted us to do on that Thursday. For Travis, somebody could call him and be like, hey, do you want to go to Australia and party your ass off for 36 hours for free?
Yep.
And I would rather do that. So that's kind of the bubble that he lives in that's different from, and this is before he started dating the biggest pop star in the world. Like when you go back to the graduation thing, I think the thing that got him, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but I think if I'm right on that, he waited too long to book the private plane. And by the time he called to book the private plane, they didn't have any private planes. So
I'll take things that don't surprise me at all for 200, Alex.
Right. So he didn't book the plane because that's what he does. He likes to wake up in the morning and call the company and say, hey, I need the plane today. And they were like, we don't have any planes.
Called Bearcat Air.
Well, I think he was in Vegas. Cincinnati would have come picked him up, but he didn't do it until that morning and then called and said, I don't have a plane. And they couldn't get a plane to Vegas and back in time for it to matter. So, yeah, that's Travis. Like, he lives life like all of us would live
Wild
life
card.
if we were allowed to still be the children that we wanted to be, but with literally everything in the world at your fingertips. Is it irresponsible? Yeah, it's probably a little irresponsible, but he doesn't have to be responsible outside of playing football. It would be, and I can't imagine how much trouble I would get myself in if I had that access to whatever the hell I wanted.
The leash.
So just an unlimited leash. There is no leash.
Right.
You got one of them collars and the battery died.
Okay.
Everything is yours.
Invisible
Go
fence.
get it, Fido.
Truly invisible. There's not one. Aaron, your thoughts on the ordeal? It should be exciting.
I've known about it for a little while.
Aaron,
so
your thoughts on the idea?
it was no surprise to me. It's cool. I'm not one. I've listened to 0 episodes from start to finish of New Heights, so that doesn't necessarily move the needle for me. I'm more excited about them actually returning to campus, and given everything that they've accomplished, just being able to be in and around the program, I think is going to be just, you can't even put a measure on how important that's going to be to this team, the staff, the recruits, the guys in the building, some of the words that they're going to be able to impart on some of the guys currently here or guys that are thinking about being a Bearcat. I think that it's all limitless. We're talking about, nothing being or an unlimited fence or invisible fence or whatever. I think that this has the potential to be limitless as far as the effect it can have on campus, on the school, on the program. Just a lot of different things that are going to be affected by this.
It sounds like, from some things I've heard, that Taylor's Army has also caught wind of this and are maybe looking at it as a chance to get to see Travis. So I don't know what the plan exactly is going to be. I would guess if they're smart, it's some kind of ticketed event with money going to Cincy Reigns or whatever they could possibly strum up. That would make the most sense, wouldn't it? But if they have, there are going to be a lot of people at Nippert Stadium on April 11th. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Did they announce the location that they're doing it yet?
Nippert Stadium.
Right, but I mean, obviously, I think that they'll just put a apparatus of some sort right in the middle, and
I'm sure that a stage of some kind. That's probably why you couldn't do it like on the day of the spring game.
yeah,
Because you'd have too many moving parts that you'd have to like incorporate after the spring game was over.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. They're gonna fill that place. I mean, Keegan quote tweeted it. New Heights got a hold of it, and I think he said that T Swift fans were all over it. Taylor's army was locked in, ready engaged. So if word comes out about that there's a slim chance they might be able to see. I mean, I think this is a little break of the tour. So it picks up, I think, in May. She resumes again overseas. So you know what? Anything can happen, Aaron. Anything can happen.
Maybe she'll book a show between now and then.
Okay. Right there.
I don't know. I would think something like a jersey retirement or something along those lines could maybe, bring her to town as like Travis is being celebrated. This is just a New Heights show.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that would warrant, Taylor hopping on a plane and coming to Cincinnati.
Chad, I thought there were rumors swirling that she was going to be a guest on the show in Nippert. Didn't you hear that?
No.
You heard it here first.
Okay.
Clip that and tweet it out, and you will get.
Sure, the Swifties. Like, I'm sure Cincinnati, the folks at UC want people like, hell yeah. I put on the thing. Taylor might be here. I don't know. We unconfirmed. We do not have it confirmed. Taylor is not coming.
Right.
Is Taylor coming? Not confirmed.
I have a source, and that's why I said that.
I think that
Joe Metzger.
I'm sure Joe is in the loop on the New Heights podcast for sure.
MetLife.
But I think it's going to be it'll be a really fun event. It is probably going to be packed, I would imagine.
I'm meeting them. Just letting everybody know. I've also known about them for a long time, so
let's go.
Are we doing a show?
Let's go.
Oh, she heard Taylor Swift, and next thing you know, she was right by my side.
There we go.
In a Taylor Swift shirt.
Love the shirt. Aaron's tour, baby. Let's go.
That's what
Aaron one of those.
Yeah, Aaron needs one. Birthday's coming up.
Aaron needs one. His birthday's coming up. Get Aaron a shirt.
okay.
They should market it as like Jason and Travis returning to their red and black era.
Yeah.
I'll make my first TikTok setting it on fire.
Your TikTok? All of TikTok? The government's trying to do that already here.
Royer, on a scale of 1 to 7.5 Toledos, how excited are you for New Heights pod coming to Nippert Stadium?
I'm taking the over on that.
Ooh,
I'm at Dante pre-diet levels. I'm hitting that 9.
Oh,
yeah, I'm excited. I think it's be great. Great for the university, great for the NIL, just great for everything involved. They're superstars and they're only getting bigger.
Yeah.
And it's just good for them to showcase how much they love this university. So I'm really pumped. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Okay, I agree. It'll be awesome. And then, of course, that spring game 2 days later. Oh, Chad, what?
I was going to say, maybe we can get them to have you on since you were a walk-on. Jason was a walk-on. Walk-on Nation. Walk-on Nation could be represented on New Heights.
I mean, I would love every second of that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like that's a reality, but I just want to meet. I want to meet the guys. I mean, Jason too.
I thought you had a chance to meet Jason, didn't you?
No,
I thought he spoke to you guys at one point. Was that before you got here?
must have been. I haven't met him. I really want to meet him. Being the like former walk on, just to see all the amazing things he did and kind of like just the way he goes about his business, both professionally and kind of just likes to have his fun. I just think he's a great guy, a great role model for walk-ons and just men out there in general.
Did you hear my story about him from last week?
Which one? I'm trying to remember.
So he retired Monday. I didn't want to send him a text and bother him on Monday because I figured it would be, chaos.
Yeah.
So I waited and I texted him Tuesday evening. And at like 8, I don't know, it's a little after 8, I get a text from him like thanking me, whatever. Just it was common courtesy, but saying, hey, we need to meet up. That he wants to meet Kelsey. And like 10 minutes later, there's a video that pops up. Him and Travis were at the Cavs game. When he texted me back. It was the night that they were at the Cavs game. The game was going on. And Jason's just on his phone, like replying to people that like wished him well. Like that. Not that he replied to me in general. Like, Jason and I have communicated for a long time. Like he's as genuine as you could ever, as much as he looks like who he is, that's who he is. I figured he would respond to me at some point in time. He responded to me while him and Travis were at the Cavs game. There's no way I was the only person he was like responding to. He's just going through his texts as they're like retiring his number in a Cavs jersey, like, giving him the senior day treatment or whatever. And he's just responding to people that wished him well. Like nobody's that nice.
Pure, baby.
Jason is.
Even more reasons to like him.
He's the man's man. Guy's guy. He is.
He's epic.
Have you heard did you get to watch the new Strong Style Rain, Royer? If you haven't.
No, like I always catch him. I always catch him when I'm like walking because I can't have my phone at work, like at my desk. So like whenever I go to the bathroom or do something like that, like I never have enough time to like sit down and like watch it. And then like when I get done with work, I just forget about it and I never go back and it doesn't pop back up on my feed. So I always like watch like the first 10 seconds. I'm like, oh, this looks cool. And then have no clue what the hell happens.
Well, I mean, shoot, that sounds like you got a full length feature to watch at some point.
I know. I got to watch 2, 3, and 4.
I was getting ready to watch it. Like I was going to put it on in the kitchen while I was cooking dinner for Kelsey and I, and it was long. I didn't have the time to properly give it. So
it's long, but it's very good.
I'll probably either watch it tonight or I'll watch it, but it'll be tonight or tomorrow morning sometime.
There's this one part in it that's kind of funny. It's like they're at the awards dinner for giving out the Iron Bearcat awards and whatnot for the winter workouts. Royer, did you ever win the Iron Bearcat in the winter?
I did. Yes.
Look at you. Where's the plaque?
Give me a second, I'll find it.
Okay. As he's going to look for the plaque, it's in chat. This is going to parlay into the one quick question about spring ball, and if Aaron or Royer has anything they want to add before we dive into the mailbag as well, that'll be what we do. But the one scene that I'm about to bring up is pretty. It's a pretty cool scene. As he comes back, look at that. Look at that. Hey.
Yep. Winter 2018. Iron Bearcat. Let's go, baby.
That is
awesome. Proud recipient of this thing. It means a lot. So every time I see guys that get it, it means awesome. It means a lot, and that they're some real guys, real dudes. So I always happy to see the guys that get it, and just know that you can count on those guys and they're doing all the right things.
So they're at that banquet, and I'm sure it was kind of similar with with you guys back in the day, but like there was, I'm sure you kind of sit around, you're enjoying a meal together, a lot of camaraderie, a lot of fun, a lot of happiness. People joking around, players on the team with each other and stuff. And Nico was like, I love seeing everyone here, kind of joking around and being happy at the dinner before the awards banquet. Last year, some players would have walked in and just asked if there was any to-go boxes of food that they could take and not even stay for the award banquet. And I'm just like, geez. So like last year really must have been pretty rough. So the main thing that I'm seeing every single one of these is just like the culture. And I know we say that culture word all the time, but it does seem like there was a really tough stretch of culture last year, off season, throughout the season. And it seems like from the outside looking in, they're really doing all they can to kind of flip and turn that page and kind of resurrect what they need the culture to be in order to produce wins and to be together as a team and whatnot. So, Chad, you were at practices last year and now this year. Do you see kind of a stark difference just this early where it does seem like there's a lot of, brotherhood, kind of people just having each other's backs, or is it kind of a little too early in the process to tell that?
I really wasn't at practice last year.
Yeah.
And when I wasn't.
Right.
So I don't want to speak specifically on that because I have very few memories of anything that was actually happening there. It was an escape maybe for 2 hours, but in terms of my overall attention span at practices last year, it was not great.
Right.
You can't really tell at this point because everybody was saying the right things.
Yeah.
At practice last year. And that was, even with all the additions last year, that was still like the guys at the top of the roster were mostly, there was a bunch of change on offense, but most of that roster was still connected to the old staff. So you expect there's going to be some divide, right? Because you don't have you haven't established the new culture yet. And then a ton of new guys come in and everybody's trying to figure things out. I think they said the right things, but that's not important. What's important is, did you find guys that are about the right things? They did not have enough of the guys that were about the right things at the top of the roster last year. And that's why a bunch of those guys are gone.
Yep.
So we'll find out. Everybody is saying the right thing about the portal guys that they brought in and about the core of leadership that is at the top of this roster. So far, it looks the part. But 3 days in, there's really no way to know. And we're still at that phase where I know in microwave society, everybody's got to have an opinion right away.
Yeah.
It's okay to say, like, if I told you right now one way or the other, I would be lying.
Right.
We're not going to know until that pick game.
I think you can tell a little bit at higher ground, Ryan.
Yeah. But you're never it never compares to the adversity of a game where you might be down 2 touchdowns.
Sure.
Like you can't replicate that at higher ground. You can replicate adversity, you can replicate, tough times and like just the grind, but I agree. There will be some you'll be able to tell at higher ground.
Look, I think we had an idea going into last year that there were a couple guys that were in leadership roles that had never been there, really. And we weren't sure what way they were going to go with it. And it didn't, when the losing started happening, they weren't able to pick the team up by the bootstraps. And instead, it kind of fractured and splintered, and the team got worse. And the performance as the season went along got worse. And there was a necessary line in the sand that had to be drawn on who are we going forward? Are we that, or are we going to, go in a different direction and try to develop our own culture and identity. I think they're in a good place. I don't know that for sure. I'm we'll see.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while before we find out.
Right.
The truth is, in the spring, everybody practices hard.
Yeah.
There's nothing to prepare for.
Right.
There's no game. There's no game prep. There's
Mhm.
no. Sure, there's attention to detail. You're learning an offense, learning a defense, trying to expand your role. You're working with a different quarterback if you're a wide receiver or whatever.
Yep.
But that, I mean, way too early
Regardless,
to
they're hitting all the notes that we wanted to hear as fans.
know.
I
Sure.
was about to say,
Yeah.
eye and ear test has been passed so far.
Aaron, the early tracks on the album, they're playing the hits. What makes a
But-
great album is the deep cuts, because the deep cuts are what kind of tells the actual story. I know this doesn't make any sense to kids now because there's no such thing as albums anymore. I'm dating myself.
Yes, there is. There are albums.
On that
No, I-
Spotify
no.
playlist,
I'm talking right. I'm talking about an album, Royer, like from the 70s and 80s, where it was a story through from front to back. The songs
Uh-huh.
connected to each other. You had the hits and you had like the deep cuts, and if they were both good, you had a great album. That's what made great bands great back in the day, because the album was fire, not just the 3-4 songs you heard on the radio.
I don't know. Like I said, I
Fair.
mean, they're just
That is a fair
saying-
point.
they're saying and doing all the things that maybe we
Yes.
wanted to say.
They're
to
playing
hear
the
them
hits.
say and do. But I think they're also doing some things that we didn't expect them to do, like having the leaders in on the meetings. That's kind of unprecedented for at least
No,
this
it's
program.
pretty common.
Yeah, there's a
That's-
leadership council.
Not to talk about it publicly, though, to where they're making sure that we knew that they were all involved. Like, again, I think it's just they're making sure that they're saying and doing everything that everybody wanted to hear, whether it was what they knew they wanted to hear or things that they weren't even necessarily expecting but got to hear.
Yeah. I mean,
Fair. Yeah.
I agree with that point, but like, okay, like show us. Right? That's what,
I think there was a conceited effort to like,
own it.
there was a sense of urgency of like, yeah, like there's a problem here and we're going to we're going to nip it in
Attack
the
it.
bud. Yeah, we're going to go after it. And that's good. I'm glad they view it as important, because I don't think you can't succeed as a program at this level without that. So they have that covered, at least for now. So we'll see how it develops. I'm confident that it's going to be a big step forward, as it's shown that so far.
Can all hope.
Agreed.
Can all hope. Yeah, that definitely watch that Strong Shot Rain, the most recent one, because they have kind of like what you're saying too, Aaron. It seems like Nico had them in a big room, and then they bring up players, and the players are now talking to the whole team in the room, asking questions, kind of getting it back and forth. And I mean, you got to see Kai Stokes really show his side of things. It's Tony Johnson was showing his side of things as well. So I'm excited to see as these pieces continue to mold, as Chad and Keegan continue to fill us in on how they look in practice and whatnot. It's going to be cool to see as you finally put the names with the performances, and now performances with who the players are going to be heading into next year. So it's only the beginning process, the only beginning stages, but things are definitely starting out on the right side. But like Chad said, it's spring practice. It's like spring training in baseball. Everyone feels good about their chances. Everyone thinks their team looks pretty doggone good. Everyone's hitters are hitting pretty well.
Right? Let's see how good they are.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. But anything more football wise, let's timestamp and mailbag it.
Nope, I think that should cover it. That is your Quick Paper Supply timestamp. Local and family owned. It's a restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They service over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next day deliveries. A wide range of food service products, from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
I noticed it was pretty light, Aaron, so figured we should prolong for a little bit.
All right. Starting off the football portion of the mailbag. Only one question here. It's early. It's a crazy question, but how much better are we than last year's 3-9 from the way too early eye test? A, 1 win, 4-8. B, 2 wins, 5-7. C, 3 wins and bowl eligible. Three wins and bowl eligibility at 6-6. D, 4 wins and 7-5. Or E, magical season 5+ wins, 8 wins plus.
Royer,
How many
Safe
wins?
is to say 6. I think they'll be capable of 7, just based on the first 6 games alone. Every game is winnable to start the first half of the year. They should be 5-1. Worst 4-2.
Yeah, non-conference is not scaring anybody.
You get that goddamn bell back.
Pittsburgh, for a lack of a better,
Did you
further-
guys see? Did you guys see Miami try and flex on Cincinnati? With
Yeah,
They can, man. They fucking
after the New Heights.
after the New Heights announcement,
it's
they're
lame.
like, yeah,
It's lame, but they got the bell, so we gotta fucking make them eat their words this year.
did you see
You
it
can
though,
have-
Ryan?
I
You know what I'm
saw it.
talking
I was
about?
like,
All right.
this is corny. I was like, this is corny as hell, but they have it, so I can't. There's not much you can't really say much. It's like,
Right. It's BS, man. Gosh,
Where you at, Brent?
gotta do all.
I know
think.
I was gonna say it's CD or E for you, and I'd be shocked
Yeah.
if you took anything lower than D.
Gotta do all you can to get to a bowl game this year. I think that's got to be the most important. The fact of the matter is that the Big 12 is not a conference that you look at and you're like, oh, there are some world beaters at the top of this conference that every team is scared of. It's kind of just like everyone can go out and make a stance for themselves, and everyone has a chance to do something. Obviously, Cincinnati will probably be picked lower end of the preseason rankings, and rightfully so, based off of just last year only. But I think C is the absolute baseline. But yeah, I'd say could come breaks your way, and you could run into that D territory.
I mean, like, what do I think after watching 3 spring practices? I don't freaking know. Like, I think they're going to be better at quarterback. So that gives you some upward trajectory as to where, if they brought in a guy that hadn't looked good in the first couple days, I think you'd probably be a little bit more concerned. 6-6 is, you got to get to 6-6. You can't have another season where you struggle under 500. And like Ryan said, like, you should be able to get to 4 or 5 pretty quick.
Yeah.
So then getting to 6, like, you have to stay. It's like, what we talked about in basketball this year and football as well. They were constantly climbing out of quicksand. They continued to put themselves in situations where keeping things on track was going to be really difficult because they made things really hard for themselves. And they need to start fast, and maybe you can build some momentum. We've talked about 2018 a million times. They started fast, and that built the momentum. And, they still weren't good enough at that point to go to Central Florida and win. They still weren't good enough to, like, win their division. But they gained a lot of confidence and momentum because they were able to stay ahead of the sticks, to use a football term. Is that fair, Ryan?
yes, I like that. I mean, I don't think we're gonna hit 10 wins, but
No.
Yeah.
But I'm
No,
talking about
I
you
know.
guys were able to get to 10 because you were able to get the ball rolling downhill.
yeah, no, I agree. I'm just saying like that learning how to win and raising the expectations, it was all happening very quickly that year. Because we knew we were good enough to be solid. Like we knew we could win 8 games. I don't know if you told us we were going to win 10, we might not have believed you. But I think that team kind of has not the potential to win 10 games, but yeah, like you're saying, the ability to kind of like adapt on the fly and in their improvement from next year. I mean, from last year, I'm sorry. But
it all comes down to leadership. If they got it right and they got quarterback right, those two things can take you pretty far, at least in terms of avoiding the bottom falling out and having the season become a disaster.
Yep.
I'm bullish on this team in the way too early. I think 6-6 is the floor of this team, and I think anything beyond that is gravy. And yes, I use that term on purpose. But I'm probably somewhere around D, thinking that we are 7-5 or better. But that's me. Moving on to the basketball portion of the mailbag. Do we really need to win 5 games in a row and have 23 wins to get into the dance? If not, what scenario gets us there? A, win 2 and get to the magic 20 win number and finish 20-14. Can we get serious consideration with 20 wins while playing in the Big 12? B, win 3 and get to 21 wins with a couple more quad 1 wins under our belt. Or C, win 4, get to the final with 22 wins.
So the way the bracket is done, it is really tough to make a move past like Thursday afternoon because they come in, they do a straw poll of like, who does everybody have in the tournament? What teams are a lock? And then they go through, and if you're unanimous, like everybody has you as a lock, then you're in. And then they take the next 4 teams and they scrub them. And they continue scrubbing down the list into generally like late Thursday, early Friday, and then they start. They say that they don't do this, but once you already get past scrubbing the list, it's very difficult to go back in the process and go, all right, well, this team, got hot in their conference tournament. Let's take them from out to in. And then you have to go back and re-scrub the list, the bottom of the list. Okay, who do they get in over? It's just not something that we've seen the committee do a lot of. You have not seen teams that were out, and Cincinnati's out, make no mistake, go from out to, okay, we have to find a place for them in the field. It hurts that Wednesday, this is hypothetical, if they win Tuesday, Wednesday would be a depleted Kansas. You're not getting brownie points for that. You play Kansas without the 2 leading scorers in the conference. Then you get to Thursday with Baylor. Okay, if you beat Baylor, maybe they raise their eyebrows a little bit. I still think it would take, at minimum, beating Iowa State and getting to the championship game. And if you're at that point, like, okay, maybe they put you in, but still, I think the only way they get in is winning the thing. I just knowing how this all operates, I think it would be really tough. Even, I guess, you beat Baylor and Kansas or Iowa State, at least they're going to probably have a conversation about you Saturday morning, whether they need to put you in.
Yeah, I think they talk about you if you beat Kansas and Baylor. You enter the
Kansas,
discussion.
you're not getting any juice for. Dickinson and McCullough.
I agree, but you enter the discussion. They're bored. They're bored, Chad. Yes, you do.
No, they're not. They are doing. They have a list of tasks that take them through all the way to like Saturday evening.
2 additional quad 1 wins. Yeah, I think you then would enter in not like they might glance at you, give you an idea. Someone in the room might be like, "How about Cincinnati? They just beat Kansas and Baylor." and then someone else might say, okay, well, but I didn't, they also beat a Kansas team that was depleted. I think you just enter into these conversations. Then I think if you beat Iowa State, I think you're in. I do. I mean, that's asking a lot, yes, but I think you're in. Obviously, if you win the whole thing, you're 1,000% in. But I think you've got to beat Iowa State, and then you're in. There's just so many different things that you add up then with quads and whatnot, and you look at the bubble. No one's really trying to help themselves in the damn bubble. It's like, what, you're looking at a Villanova team that just keeps losing. You look at a Virginia team that is getting blown out in certain games. It's just, yet again, the bubble's just like a weird thing. But yet, if Villanova goes on a run, if Virginia goes on a run, the ACC, if these teams that are above them say, make a name for themselves, and yes, those then get more love than Cincinnati would. But if the Bearcats are the ones making the run while everyone else is kind of just like either losing when they should or when they're expected to, or losing earlier than they're expected to, then I think that's when you see that jump. That's all I'm saying.
If they get to the finals, I think they'll have to take a serious look at them. I don't think they take a serious look at them until then.
I didn't say it was serious. I said
I said what I said, Brent. I said what I said.
Here's hoping everything comes up Bearcat.
Like it normally does, Aaron.
Wah, wah. Who walked in 2023 Senior Day celebration?
Odie, John, Landon Long, and Chase Kirkwood.
That was 2024.
Oh, 2023. Oh, I don't even remember. Dave.
Yeah. I know JD didn't walk. I think is he
Micah
trying to
didn't
get at like seeing who didn't walk, and like
I think it was just the seniors.
Yeah, and trying to dive into like what the connections are. I know Finney walked, Kalu walked.
Landers did not walk.
Landers didn't walk.
I think it was just the guys that were out of eligibility.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for anything as a sign, it's not.
And Wes has mentioned that a couple of different times, how he's in this new era of craziness and eligibility, he's only seniors that have fully exhausted their eligibility will walk on senior night, just to kind of clear up any weirdness.
Landers didn't walk, told the coaching staff he was returning, and then a couple of days later went into the portal. Wes Miller went to Syracuse 2 days before Micah Adams-Woods went into the portal. Micah Adams-Woods told him, I'm in, I'm back. And then things happen. Like the situations change. The decisions that you're making change. And that's basketball in 2024, where you've got Rick Pitino saying, we're going to look at all the teams that have a lot of really talented young guys and then name Cincinnati today on Pardon My Take. Welcome to the sport as it is currently constructed.
And also it's probably smart to like steer away from like showing up on senior day and you have like a surprise junior walking and Mamadou Diarra that kind of just shakes the crowd. It's like, wait a minute.
I mean, like if you've got a guy that like this guy's he's been here 3 years, he's going to the NBA. Like, okay, you let him walk, but you don't have people walking just to, just for the sake of them getting their flowers, so to speak.
Right.
All right. With another summer of development and targeted improvement, is there any world where two of Vic, Aziz, and Jamil can play together more effectively next season than they did this season?
I don't think so in this league. I really don't. I think it could have worked in a different, even a different high major league. I think it could have worked in the ACC. The teams have shown they can do it in the Pac-12. In this league, I just don't think three centers, like putting two of them on the floor, can get you where you want to go. Is Vic going to jump up and be a 38% three-point shooter next year? I don't think so. So I wouldn't count on that. No.
Anything to add, Brent?
No.
Don't you get on people for that?
Yeah. Sorry, I was typing.
Real
Real quick.
recap.
Real quick.
Do that after the show.
Real quick.
Jesus. Fuck.
I think you got to be a little bit more, flexible with your ability to kind of, be that whole positionless basketball type thing. In certain stretches, sure. Yes, I think that would be good to throw at teams to kind of, try and bully them for a quick 4-minute stretch. If the right scenario calls for it. But under the same situation, you also don't want to kind of handicap yourself to where you're forcing your hand to try and have to mold to that type of roster too. I like what they've recently been doing with having the ability to have Dan in there as well, with CMOS and Newman, and then Dede, and then also having the ability to then sub in Jizzle, and then obviously next year you're gonna have a big wave of a couple of other players, but kind of just the ability to use the bigs and just kind of let them go all out, exhaust their energy, bring in the next big, go all out, exhaust their energy, bring in the next big. Next segment, you're going to have Vic on the floor with Jamil. Next segment, it's going to be just Aziz. I kind of like the mix that Wes has been able to find right now.
I enjoyed that answer.
Thank you.
How have you heard Rayvon has developed this year? We talk about needing a scoring shooting guard. Do we feel that Rayvon can be a key contributor or just a 5 to 10 minute glue guy like Reed next year?
I don't think he's a shooting guard, so I don't think he answers that question. Probably slots in as a 3, could maybe play you some small ball 4, but I think Rayvon is a wing, like a kind of a traditional wing. So gonna have to earn it. Like I can't answer that question because I don't know what the roster looks like. Get me back in late April, early May when this thing settles down and we understand like who he's competing with, because we thought he was going to be able to come in at this point in time last year, and then John is healthy. There was a huge question as to whether John Newman was going to be a factor on this team. John's healthy. They add CMOS, they add CJ. All of a sudden, and Dan takes a jump. Now, all of a sudden, the spots that you thought were going to be there aren't going to be there. Yeah. So how has he progressed? He looks good. He's taken it seriously. He's used it to aid his development. He gets a ton of work in outside of normal practice to make sure that he's where he wants to be as they go into an important offseason for him.
Yeah.
But until I know the roster, I can't tell you for sure where he fits in said roster.
And a lot of the pregame little workouts that we've seen him go through, Chad, he obviously looks the part. It's going against air, so air is lost every single time, but he's looks as athletic as can be. His shot, although it looks a little strange coming off, it goes in for the most part, but he just looks like he's got that extra edge. And my favorite thing about having this redshirt year is that just think about it being like a full year of being able to get just training and development from like your bosses, I guess, and like kind of like understand them talking to you and letting you know, hey, if you do this, like this is what we need you to do to be able to get to this level. And then also you're building your own personal game as well on top of it. So he looks good. I think he's looked pretty good, as good as you can, just pregame workouts and whatnot. So excited to see the next step in Rayvon Griffiths.
What's the likelihood of all three centers coming back? I'm not sure if we're talking Jamil,
Vic,
Aziz,
Jamil,
and
Aziz.
Vic.
I don't know. I think it would be hard for all three of them to make that decision. But I think if you're Vic, you still think like, I want to continue my development as a 4. So maybe he thinks with an extra year of working towards that goal, he can be successful there. 3 centers, it's tough because there's 40 minutes and nobody wants to play 17 minutes a game. And that's way over 40. So figuring out how to make that work, even with getting a guy a little bit of time at the 4, playing them together for little stretches or whatever. I think I guess I'd say I'd probably be surprised if all 3 are back.
Fair.
Yeah.
Anything else on that, Brent?
I mean, I have no idea what the answer to that would be. So, I mean, I want all 3 back, but yeah, it's become that time of the college calendar life where people can make decisions that benefit themselves. So if someone can learn the 4 at a very high level, that would be extremely ideal. So we'll see if maybe Vic can continue that step.
And the transfer portal opens today?
Selection
No,
Sunday.
next
right?
Monday.
Selection.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, after Selection Sunday.
I just saw people being reported already in the transfer portal.
That's that
all
whole
over
rumor.
Twitter today.
Well, so guys, seasons are done as the mid-major tournaments end. So guys are just announcing their intention to enter the transfer portal.
Enter the transfer portal.
Well, I mean, guys are making
Well,
it
they
clear,
are.
like, I am going into the portal next
Right.
Monday. They just can't officially go into the portal until next Monday. They are putting up the smoke signals for your guy to call their guy. Have your people call my people, and
I'll do
we'll
lunch.
talk. Yeah.
And you know what? We might know where some of them might be heading before the portal even open. I'm joking, but sometimes that's how those things are.
All right.
I mean, we might know. It won't be announced.
Yeah, we
but
know.
there'll be some that we
We
know
knew-
where they're going.
I think last year we knew JJ Starling was going to Syracuse before the portal even opened.
Yeah,
like
my phone will have the answers to many transfers before Monday even hits.
Right.
Because that's just how this works.
All right. And the last portion of the mailbag, the Banks portion. Ryan, maybe you want to take a stab at this first. The over-under on 81 games. Number of games Joey Votto plays for the Blue Jays in 2024.
Under.
Way under.
What if he doesn't make the team?
I don't think he's going to make it.
So, yeah, I'll go under.
Joey V. Yeah, 81. What's that? Half of the games? Yeah.
Exactly.
Almost to 2 weeks until opening day. Let's go Red Legs. Come on.
Except for Noel.
All right. And Brent, breaking news: T. Higgins, he requested a trade.
What? Really? Why? We're still carrying that.
Rapid fire celebrity deathmatch edition. Who collected more stones, Thanos or J-Lo? That's pretty good.
J-Lo, probably.
There's not a limit on how many J-Lo can collect.
Right. Thanos had a number. Like, he had to get to that number, and the job was done.
Didn't she already double dip with Ben?
Yeah.
So, just saying.
I mean, how about, gosh, it was that halftime performance, her and Shakira, man. I tell you what,
Bonk.
Shakira, hips do not lie. She got a very, very, very pretty smile.
Who wins in a fight, Matt Damon or Ben Affleck?
Affleck.
He's so angry, right?
You gotta
Yeah, I'll
go
give
with
you
your
edge to
boy.
Affleck. I think he's a little bigger, right?
Yeah.
Way bigger. Damon's a smaller dude.
Yeah.
You gotta
he's got
worry.
the
You
reach.
gotta. He might be scrappy though. You gotta worry about Damon. He talks a lot of shit.
Yeah. Matt Damon, 5'10", Ben Affleck, 6'2". That's good reach for Affleck. Depends on how many cigs Affleck smokes, the day of the fight.
Good old fashioned Donnybrook.
Yeah.
Who's
This
funnier?
next one might be that's the hardest question I've ever had to answer in my life.
Who's funnier, George Carlin or Eddie Murphy?
I haven't really listened to either of their shit, to be honest.
George
Shane
Carlin's
Gillis.
George Carlin's right up your alley. He's just every other word is a swear. He's dirty. He's old school. I feel like that's right up your alley.
George Carlin is a prophet, a philosopher, like a man that was able. And here's the thing that amazed me about both of these guys. These guys, if I had a top three, it's two of my top three comedians ever. You can go back and watch stuff from the 80s from them that is still
Relevant,
on point, relevant, and hysterical today. More so Carlin, because if you watch Carlin stuff now, you're like, that man was from the future. Like
Carlin also would have been canceled in today's climate.
Oh yeah. But I don't know that it genuinely is what I'm in the mood for in terms of like what mood I'm feeling in being funny. Carlin is probably the smartest comedian ever. Like that guy was brilliant. Eddie, if you go back to Delirious and Raw, the jokes in those two stand-up specials were one after another, like laugh out loud funny. I could give you almost all of them right now. Goonie Goo Goo, Gus. What the fuck is Goonie Goo Goo? That's not a fire. This is a fire. Mama, throw me some money for the ice cream. The ice cream man is coming. Like, I could do all of them. the Johnny Carson skit where he's talking about women taking half your shit, and Johnny had a $300 million deal with NBC, and his wife gets a job as a hairdresser, and she comes home that day and she's like, now we got $370 because I want to do my part. Like, just I can't pick. I can't pick.
I think Norm Macdonald would rival him for smartest comedian, but
no. Norm was awesome. He was not as smart as Carlin.
He's very smart as a comedian.
I agree. He was not as smart as Carlin.
I have to check him out tomorrow.
I'm with you though. I like Carlin over Eddie Murphy, and it's very close. I've laughed an awful lot, especially Beverly Hills Cop was fantastic.
Yeah.
I need to watch more Carlin.
Eddie, I am American woman now. I want what's coming to me. I want half Eddie. Half your shit, Mr. Fuck You Man.
Yeah. Like I said, need to watch more Carlin, so I gotta go with Murphy.
The words you can't say on radio and TV are unbelievable. The 10 Commandments, where he cuts the 10 Commandments down to 2 because he thinks 8 of the commandments are bullshit and just can be either combined into another commandment and it was redundant,
okay,
or should just be eliminated completely. Like, he's so good. He's the differences between baseball and football. Baseball, you play at a park. Football, you play on the gridiron. like so fucking good. So good.
Follow-up question: Brent or Carrie for most words per post?
Brent doesn't post on the message board.
Correct.
Brent just is long in articles. So you have to go Carrie because Brent doesn't post on the message board.
Yes.
Close,
TLDR that.
a close third is Chad and his responses on rapid fires. P.S.
That one was short. That one was quick. That's the best rapid fire I've done in weeks, Aaron.
You laughed, which means it was a good joke.
I know.
P.S. On Eddie Murphy, has anyone ever had a run like he had from 81 to 88 with 48 Hours, Trading Places, Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, Golden Child, Raw, and Coming to America?
And Delirious. No, it's as good as it'll get in comedy probably ever.
I mean,
5
there's been
smash
some
hit
good
movies.
stretches out of comedian movies, though.
Yeah, but Eddie had 5 like box office blockbusters plus 2 like stand-up specials that reignited an entire genre.
Yeah, I guess the
Eddie, that run from Eddie in the 80s was unbelievable.
I don't think
Sandler
it'll ever happen again, though. I don't think it's dead.
Sandler
had a good run. Farley had a good run.
But Sandler was never a stand-up. Like he was, but he never like. I think that's what takes Eddie. He never had anything like Raw and Delirious. Is my point, Aaron.
Will
he never
Ferrell
had like
a good
that
run, but that's just movies. So yeah,
those are movies. Like Eddie took it one step farther with Raw and Delirious. That unless you were really like cognizant of it, and I was young still, but I loved comedy. I've always loved comedy.
Chris Rock had a good run.
He did. Rock would probably be fairly close because he didn't have the movie success of Eddie, but he had the comedy success.
Kevin Hart had a good run with selling out.
And Hart has always stayed true to being a comedian. While he's done
Chappelle.
He took that. I mean, he
took that weird break. He didn't love the spotlight.
No, and he didn't do a ton of movies. Like Half Baked is hilarious. If you watch it in its context and like understand how stupid it is, it's really, really funny. But I wouldn't call that like great acting.
Yeah.
Abba Zabba, you my only friend.
Was Chappelle ever the main headline name for a movie? I don't know that he was ever.
I mean, he was the headliner for for Half Baked, but that was about it.
Undercover Brother.
I don't even know that he was
Blue Streak,
the biggest name in that movie at that point in time.
Yeah, but Thurgood Jenkins was the main character.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we talked. Seinfeld. He didn't do movie. I guess Seinfeld was a monster, and he did always kind of stay true and do stand up. So, I'd add him to the list. Dr. Dolittle, Eddie Murphy as well.
Eddie Murphy movies. Yes.
You need to watch Raw, at least Raw.
Delirious. Those are some good movies.
Delirious is a deep cut. It's a little like him still perfecting the craft. Raw is a masterclass in comedy.
Robin Williams, he still did stand up and all of that, and he had.
Yeah, Robin Williams would probably be like Dead Poets Society. The crazy thing was he was Mrs. Doubtfire. He was kind of better as a serious actor than he was like a actual like comedic. He was funny, but he wasn't like doing comedy movies.
Hey, Crook just brought up Dice. Dice is one of the craziest things ever. I listen to a Rogan. Yeah.
Jack and Jill went up the hill, each with a buck and a quarter. Jill came down with $2.50. Hey!
So stupid.
Rogan was telling a story of Dice, like at a comedy club, where he went up on the stage for like 5 minutes, didn't say a word, and he convinced all the other stand-ups for the night to do the same thing because he thought it was the funniest thing ever. So he just got every single act to be dead silent from the comedians, and the crowd just got fucked over for the whole night. And I
Jim
just
Carrey's
think that
Jim Carrey's good. In Living Color, and then Ace Ventura, Liar Liar,
The Mask.
The Mask. Like he had a run that was pretty big, and he's still
Dumb and
didn't do,
Dumber.
Truman Show.
he didn't do like he didn't do the comedy specials like the big comedy tours, but he still like did some stand up, like some small, like still stayed connected at least to the genre.
All right. That's the mailbag. Get us out of here, Brent.
Dumb and Dumber, man, great movie. And speaking of
Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber, like Bearcats could win 5 games in 5 days. So you're saying there's a chance. There is. There's absolutely a chance, and that starts tomorrow. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. We take on those Mountaineers from West Virginia. Good. Oh,
Send them back home on country roads.
country road, boys. So yeah. Send them in. Settle down. Send them line spin around. Yes, breaking news: Hunter Dickinson and Kohler out officially for the Big 12 tournament. So things are lining up. Stars Born, another Dave Chappelle movie for you guys. But you know what, guys? It's time to start getting a little bit of March Madness, little March magic. So big shout out to Danco Joe, Danco Transmission Not to Care. Big shout out to Quick Paper Supply, and big shout out to New Riff for the new Riffing with Royers. And for my guys, my pals, the crew, the squad, Aaron Smith, Chad Brendo, and Ryan Royer, I am Brent Young. Yet another fantastic BBP presented by BearcatJournal.com.